Yes. Yes. We you gotta do the got it on the other screen. Yeah. So you got it, you got it. Are we good? All right. Well, shalom everyone. I hope everyone did have a good Sukkot. I'm talking about everybody else. I hope everybody else who had to rough it, who was out there with them bugs. Yeah, he brought the rain when it came. That's him. Man, you had roaches. Yeah, we had hornets and wasps. Okay, so let me just start by saying, we did have a great time out there in the woods for the short amount of time it was. We did learn some stuff about each other. So with this lesson out there, everybody kind of acclimated to Sukkot, before. So how many people in here, this is your first time?
It's my first time this year.
The engineers in this now, I'm on their task right now. I didn't ask no questions. All right, so if this is your first time, okay, we're not really going to go into Sukkot in depth. There's a million lessons online that Moreh Chanan has done that goes in deep about Sukkot. Okay, there's another message that we're going to talk about today. All right, but of course, before we do that, I, s- I say they don't want the rules. Bam, you're gonna get them anyway. Rules. All right, please keep your mic muted except when asking or answering a question. Use the mic to speak. There is a feature on Zoom in the meeting room where you can raise your hand. Everybody try it. Just do it one time. Raise it. All right. Raise your hand if you have a question. All questions must be on the topic. You have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. These rules are due to the time and recordings of the lessons. These are live teachings. We must give the more enough time to complete the lesson. This will be mixed with discussions to help build one another. Please do not abuse the time. All right. So, the Feast of Booths. Leviticus 23:33 to 36. And Yahuah spoke to Moses or Moshe, saying, speak to the people of Israel, saying, on the 15th day of this month, of this seventh month, and for 7 days is the Feast of Booths to Yahuah. Who is it to? Oh, okay. On the first day shall be a holy or set apart convocation. You shall not do any ordinary work. For 7 days you shall present food offerings to Yahuah. On the eighth day, you shall hold a holy or set apart convocation and present a food offering to Yahuah. It is a solemn assembly. You shall not do any ordinary work. All right. Now, the Hebrew word for solemn assembly is H6116. You might say that. Asarah. All right. It just means it's an assembly. It's a meeting basically for the festival or holiday. All right. All right. Now, the root word, what is this? Asar, all right? It's a prime root that means to hold back, all right? Withholds oneself. And it's going to get to a point later, but I just want you to keep that in mind. It means to hold back and withhold oneself, okay? All right. Proverbs 25 and 28. We can hear you. A man without self-control, a Messiah, is like a city broken into and left without walls. Now, that is the H4623 is Messiah. It means control or rule, as in self-control. All right, Mikael was talking about that a little earlier. All right. So I want to ask this question. What is meant by an emotional wall? No, 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 no. Somebody online, preferably, but somebody here too. Oh, they can't hear nothing without the cord to the mic. Oh,
I would say an emotional wall would be not able to accept something or not being able to give an opinion, whether it be opinion, forgiveness, as we spoke on earlier,
mhm.
something of that nature.
Okay. Mishael. Hold on. Mishael first. Go ahead.
Um, I did look into it a little bit because it was really interesting because I think I went through it some, but I think it's when you can get desensitized almost, like the media type of things in the world, they try to desensitize your emotions to where it's kind of have a broken hearted, broken minded thing. You can't process information because you hit an emotional wall. You can't move on from there.
Okay, not a mono.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I an emotional wall is when you really can't express yourself. You're always guarded emotionally.
Okay. Gina?
Yeah, Mana basically said it. So I think of an emotional wall, like based upon an experience that probably affected you in some type of way. So it's like a defense mechanism. So to instead of addressing or handling that uncomfortable situation in a mature way or mature fashion,
Mhm.
you kind of like ignore it. But you believe that by ignoring it, you are having rule or control over it. But in all actuality, it's actually controlling you because it's made you now build up something that later on in life, you may encounter a certain situation, or you may encounter other situations that just may not even bring that whole emotion, but just like a slither of it. But it's like just a switch in your head that just automatically goes off. Yeah. So it creates a distance or a barrier between.
That sounds like you had some experience. That was pretty deep. Shemai. He said, "Let me tell you what's on my heart."
Of the same thing. It's
Mhm.
like in a refusal to acknowledge emotions when certain situations happen, just to kind of block it out. And it's often a defense mechanism, a way to cope with trauma or stressful situations.
Mhm. So how about this? Rather than feeling, who's just calling me? Rather than feeling a lot of emotions, you don't feel that many at all. You feel detached, like Moreh said, from what's going on in life, and that's a sign of stress and exhaustion are getting to you. Now, when it comes to the truth, as we explained when we were in Sukkot, there's a right way and a wrong way to put up a wall. All right. Like I like to say, keeping your guard up. Right. So with that, someone tell me, what does it mean to keep your guard up? You ain't got to guard your grill. We ain't fighting. Nobody knows what keeping your guard up. Okay, let me gonna go back here.
Protecting yourself from words that can hurt you, mostly.
Okay, we go back here first. Doria. Thank you.
I was just gonna say, keeping your guard up might mean you're like always on the defensive side of things and maybe a little confrontational.
Okay. We said it was online. Not a mine.
Um, excuse me. My coach said what I was going to say. Always keeping your guard up, always defense, always you're just always protective.
Mhm. Okay. So the same breath is means to be careful and alert, right? You want to make sure you guard yourself against things and people who will, for instance, take your focus away from the word. And maybe I have to put that up there so y'all can read it too. But in the same breath, you don't want to put up a wall when it comes to hearing the Father, obeying his word, or even when it comes to your brothers and sisters in the truth. So in this sense, it's about having control over your soul, your nefesh, as Moreh Chanan did in one of his lessons a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Proverbs 16:32. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit of ruach than who takes a city. Now, pretty simply put, you just need to learn how to keep yourself in check. All right. And with that being said, when we get to this point in the feast season, everyone here should have self-control or control over oneself, right? These 8 days are about who? All right, they're about the Father. It's not about us. Right? How we wish to act and think about this set of days means nothing to us. You are supposed to get yourself together on or before what other Yom HaKippurim? Supposed to get it together by then, not even before then, by then. All right? No. You got it. No, you can't wait till 5:59 and say, oh, hold on, before we go, let me tell you I'm sorry. No, you can't do that. Now, this is about the ingathering onto Yahuah. Whatever you have going on before this feast started should have been taken care of before the start of the feast. The whole idea is for Yahuah to tabernacle with us. Right? You as an individual or everyone as a group will now be able to tabernacle if there is still, get this, leaven or uncleanness in your heart. So we were making a point about this when Mikael was talking. You have to remember, we started, what was the first feast? And we're at the end, right? You had all that time in between to get yourself together. You can't say that you want the Father to tabernacle with you, but you still ain't ready. All of these feast days, each and every one of these, as of right now, is a rehearsal, right? But it's going to come a time where playtime is over. There won't be any more rehearsal. So that's why the title of the lesson is, Are you ready for the harvest? Because if you're not ready to be picked, where do you think you're going to be when he does come back? I told y'all that wasn't going to be this type of lesson. We ain't talking about scope. All right. I want everybody to understand you really have to start getting into the mood that I have to practice this now. All right. You don't have to rehearse this anymore. You need to actually start living this. Actually, you're already supposed to be doing that. From the moment that you accepted this covenant into your heart. Uh-oh.
Now, you know what I think about is like a lot of us know that we can do all his feast days by ourselves. There's no challenge.
Not at all.
The challenge comes when you got to deal with other people. You know, either be it their emotional baggage, be it their ways. That's what makes a lot of people's time complicated. It seems like for feast days or Shabbat is by themselves, they are perfect. And that's why I believe when Mashiach said, I pray that they be one as we are one. He knows what happens when we interact to be one.
Yeah,
we got to deal with each other.
It's a monster. All right. Speaking of which, let's talk about being together. All right. Someone tell me what a transitive verb is. Now, it's been 5 days and y'all done forgot already.
Hold on.
Father.
I think I got it. I think I got it. Transitive verb. It's a verb that has a direct object.
And he even uses Google. Thank you. Characterized by having or containing a direct object. It's a transitive verb. Okay. Okay, so what is the opposite? What is an intransitive verb? I don't think y'all ready. All right, so not trans, especially characterized by not having or containing a direct object. That's an intransitive verb. Now, let's look at ingather. All right, and gathered and gathering and gathers. Okay, the transitive verb is to gather in. The intransitive verb is to assemble. And just like Moreh was just talking about, that seems to be the problem, especially during this feast day, assembling with one another. It's not necessarily just assembling, but assembling for long periods of time to a point where you have to get to know each other. But there's a reason why he wants us to do this. All right? To assemble means to bring together as in a particular place or for a particular purpose. Now, like I said in Sukkot, remember this part, for a particular purpose, all right? Or it can mean to fit together the parts, which is a verb in transitive, to meet together, all right? So keep that in mind. There's a reason why he wants us to actually get along with one another. Can't tabernacle. It can't have just one or two people. It has to be the collective. That's what the camp is. That's what the community is. It's everybody together, not as individuals. All right. It's not about individuals. All right. Exodus 23, 16 to 17. You shall keep the feast of harvest, of the first fruits of your labor, of what you sow in the field. You shall keep the feast of ingathering, this is what this is, at the end of the year when you gather in from the field. Now, what this is saying is that when all of your work and or your labor will be judged accordingly, right? The fruit of your labor. Now, we all know the field represents what? All right. So question, who is the farmer?
The Father. The field is the world.
Three times in a year, you shall all your males appear before Yahuah Elohim. All right. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to ask that again. Okay. All right. So together is H622. It's a soft. It's a prime root to gather for any purpose. All right. Hence, it means to assemble or gather in, gather together, gather up again, or pull all together. And you're starting to see this. There's a reason behind this. You know, you're supposed to do this. All right. All right. We're going to read here Nehemiah 8:13 to 8. All right. That's your sukkah? Oh. I didn't know they look like that out there in Williamsburg. You picked all them leaves by yourself, huh? Oh my goodness. What we're doing here is looking at pictures of being gathered in a symbol, okay? On the second day, the heads of the fathers' houses of all the people, with the priests and the Levites, came together to Ezra the scribe in order to study the words of the law. And they found it written in the law that Yahuah had commanded by Moses that the people of Israel shall dwell in booths during the feast of the 7th month, and that they shall proclaim it and publish it in all their towns and in Jerusalem. Go out to the hills and bring branches of olive, wild olive, myrtle palm, and other leafy trees to make booths, as it is written. So the people went out and brought them and made booths for themselves, each on his roof, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of Elohim, and in the square at the water gate, and in the square at the gate of Ephraim. And all assembled, or kahal, assembled, which means to assemble, company, congregation, or a multitude. This is the H6951, right? Of those who had returned from the captivity, made booths and lived in the booths. For from the days of Yeshua, the son of Nun, to that day, the people of Israel had not done so. and there was a great rejoicing. And day by day, from the first day to the last day, he read from the book of the law of Elohim. They kept the feast 7 days. On the eighth day, there was a solemn assembly, according to the rule. Mhm. So everybody was together, right? It was even a multitude of people out there. Right? Everybody from everywhere. All right. Deuteronomy 31, 12 to 13. Again, you see that this was an assembly. All right. So assemble the people, the men, women, and little ones, and the sojourner within your towns. So everybody, that they may hear and learn to fear Yahuah your Elohim, and be careful to do all the words of this law, and that their children who have not known it may hear and learn to fear Yahuah your Elohim, as long as you live in the land that you are going over the Jordan to possess. So this is another thing you all have to, this is a commandment, right? It's a commandment to do these things. Even if you don't like your brother, your sister, everybody has to participate. Do we have max participation today? Huh? Yeah, well, we know you. Nehemiah 9, 1 to 4. But there was a time where they didn't do that, right? Now on the 24th day of this month, the people of Israel were assembled again. They gathered together with fasting and in sackcloth and with earth on their heads. So they gathered together for a purpose, right? And the Israelites separated themselves or became set apart from all foreigners and stood and confessed their sins and the iniquities of their fathers. And they stood up in their place and read from the book of the law, of Yahuah their Elohim for a quarter of the day. And for another quarter of it, they made confession and worship Yahuah their Elohim. So even when they assembled, they all came together for a purpose, right? No matter if it was good or bad, they were still acting as one. Right? It's not always going to be pretty. All right. All right. Deuteronomy 16 and 13. You shall keep the Feast of Booths 7 days when you have gathered in the produce from your threshing floor and your wine press. Now, I did talk about the threshing floor when we was in Sukkot. Father said, take it out. So I'm not going to talk about it this time because I really want you all to study this on your own, what the threshing floor represents. But I will give you a hint. From my teachings, when was the first time I spoke of the threshing floor? Mishael. Can nobody hear you, man? Nobody heard anything you said. Still can't hear you. You turn it on?
Okay. Shalom. You
Oh,
talk
now
about
you
that saying the
upstairs. You
Pesach.
upstairs now. Mhm.
Is this? Can I
Go
see?
ahead.
Do I know what? Can I say what word it is? What word I think it is? Is this the word go rain to make smooth? Is that the word for threshing floor here we're looking at? Yeah, I'm just asking.
Are you sure?
If not, we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it.
Yeah. The question was, when was the first time I said something about the threshing floor?
Shalom. Was it when you was talking about the different type of wheats
When was
you-
that?
for Pesach?
Pesach. Okay.
Yeah.
So what time are we in now?
Sukkot.
So do you not see the correlation? We started
It's
in
the
Pesach,
harvest and
and now we're coming to the end, right? So in the middle of that, you all have to figure out what exactly does the threshing floor represent. I give you a little bit more, okay? It represents a separation. That's all I'm giving you, okay? But I'll show you some pictures of it though. They're real nice. Look at that. Look at that.
Slicha Moreh, is it separating the wheat from the shaft?
Okay, but we get that point. We can see it, but what does that mean when it comes to us?
Well,
Is the
what it
question.
means is it means is the Moreh is, I mean, the father's gonna separate the wheat from the shaft. He's gonna separate the ones that he can use and the ones that he can't use. The ones that he can use, he's gonna keep, and the ones he can't use is gonna be burned by fire. He's gonna get rid of it.
Okay. They need to do a little more research on that. Yeah, go ahead.
So the threshing floor, isn't it like a how would I say, like a crushing type of thing. Is that
You want to crush the
like
wheat now?
like not the wheat?
That's
but,
money.
So with the grain, right?
Yeah, that's the millstone you talking about.
Okay,
The
that's the
grinding.
millstone.
No, we
Okay.
ain't grinding nothing
All right.
here. Okay, one more hint, then we moving on. Think about the week. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Shalom, it's Kenisha. Is it like preparing the ground for?
It does
Um,
involve preparation. Oh, you got echo going on here. It does involve a preparation, yes.
Like, is it preparing the ground or preparing ourselves in comparison?
Something like that, yeah. It has to do with your foundation. Well, I say that, but there is a preparation going on. So y'all getting close, but I still think you need to.
So I think what you're sharing basically is that you taught it
Yeah.
in Pesach.
Mhm,
We're in Sukkot,
mhm.
and there's still no answer to your question back from Pesach. So you're asking everybody to study it out, and then you must going to revisit it another
Oh,
time
yeah.
to talk about the fullness of a threshing floor. Am I understanding that right?
Yes, because it
Okay.
doesn't stop at Sukkot. I want you to know that, but I can't really give it to you unless you study just a little bit. All right. Somebody else?
It just real quick. It just sounds like there's like, I guess from figuratively or spiritually, there's a work that needs to be done, and something that we just got to work on throughout the year until the end. Just a work that we got to complete.
Okay.
I was going to ask, does it have to kind of have something to do with being redeemed, like in the book of Ruth, when she was commanded by her mother to go and lay on the threshing floor to be accepted, kind of in a sense?
Yeah, I think I can't wait to hear somebody's answer. Yeah, you was start putting these dots together. Yeah. All right, let's move on. All right. Verse 14, you shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter, your male servant and your female servant, the Levite, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to Yahuah your Elohim at the place that Yahuah will choose. Now we're getting back to being assembled for a purpose, right? Because Yahuah your Elohim will bless you in your produce and in all the work of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. Not individually, but all together joyful. Okay. So there is a reward for coming together, especially when it's something that is appointed by the Father. All right. We ain't got to the good part here. Okay, so getting back to I asked you. So getting back to, I asked who was the farmer, and we said who that was. So who is the vine? Who is the true vine? Dad, put that mic down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he done read it. He done read it a couple of times. All right. 15:1. I am the true vine, and my father is the vine dresser, or the Geragos. Right. That is the G1092. It means land worker, i.e. the father and the husband. All right. James 5:7-11. All right. Be patient, or mekaraf or male, to be long spirited, or be long suffering, or basically just try to endure. Okay. Therefore, brothers, until the coming of the sovereign, see how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it until it receives the early and the late rains. Now, in Sukkot 2020, Moreh Chanan, he went over the early and the latter rains. Okay. I will go look that up. You also be patient. Establish your hearts for the coming of the sovereign Yahushua HaMashiach. is at hand. And let's read this, okay? Do not grumble against one another.
What?
Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. I'm just reading what it says. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. I'm gonna read that one more time. Do not grumble against one another. All right, brothers and sisters, so that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. What does that mean to you all? Oh, it should be real clear what that means. And that's present tense. That's not past tense.
That means that if you judge a person and you're going to expect to be judged by the Mashiach in the end times.
Okay. Shabbat Yahuah.
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me, Moreh?
Shalom, we can hear you.
Ah, stop it. Listen, y'all turn his mic down, please. Gee. Moreh, listen, I have to actually have to ask a question first, because that's why I raised my hand, but then you're kind of asking your question. I want to answer your question, but so my question was, give me an example of what would be grumbling against your brother.
Oh, I can give you a good one.
Okay.
All right. How about worrying about somebody else instead of what you got going on?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. Okay. So,
That'd be a good one.
right. So, to answer your question, you said, what is grumbling, right? So grumbling to me could also be along with what you said. I do agree with that. Is when, if for some reason my brother doesn't agree with what I'm saying, because, well, it could be, of course, definitely we're talking about, it could be scripture. Let's leave it on scripture. So my brother doesn't agree with what I'm saying. So now I'm upset with him because he doesn't agree with what I'm saying. And I go to another brother and I'm trying to get that other brother to be on my side.
Okay. I mean, but the whole idea of grumbling is to complain, right?
Right, right.
So you complain about something that has to deal with your brother. So that's why I'm saying when you're worrying about someone besides yourself, that's when you get in trouble.
True that.
Yeah.
So someone else before, then I think someone else.
Who else? Who else? Not a mine.
Namana.
Moreh, so wouldn't that would fall in the same pattern as don't grumble or complain. That would be the same as don't judge your brother because you would be judged by the same measure.
You in this context, you're complaining about someone. You're not necessarily judging them.
Or isn't that still grumbling? Or I mean, isn't that you're still grumbling? Or still isn't that grumbling? Isn't that in the same thing?
I think you're getting confused because it says you may not be, so you may not be judged. You got to understand you're going to be judged for what you say. So it's not a don't judge or be judged. It's you're complaining about somebody, and based on that complaining, that's when you're going to be judged. Right?
Okay.
So in other words, like I was saying, you don't have time to worry about other people when it comes to that aspect. That's not something that you need to do when you're supposed to be working together for the same purpose.
Yeah, now Mana, it really has the context of grudge. So I'll just wait there, but it really means a grudge. So we'll stop there because.
Okay.
All right. When I see that, I'll see it as do your best to keep peace, because Mashiach is the Prince of Peace. So if he's standing at the door, we know we're supposed to, what I'm saying, not grumble against one another. We ought to at all times be patient, as it begins with, and do our best to keep peace until that time.
Okay, so in layman's terms, when you look, if they look this word up, it says do not grumble or do not have a grudge. against one another. Another way of saying it is do not murmur, against one another. So it has the thing of murmuring, keeping grudges against one another, because why? There's a judgment coming. And so it says, so do not grumble, do not have a grudge, do not murmur against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. That's what it's about. Here it is. I'm over here murmuring about this person, having a grudge about this person. He's like, well, hold on. But there's a plank that's in your eye, and I'm going to be the judge of it.
Wait, hold on. Let Moreh Chanan go.
Just amplifying on that word grumble. It goes into like venting and then whining about it, a certain thing a person does. It's like almost every time you see him, it's a sigh that comes up in you. You feel something towards that individual. And then it's connected also to a hypocritical feeling. You'll pretend as if you're okay with them, but then as soon as they're gone, it's like, my goodness.
Backstab.
So yeah.
All right, go ahead, Michelle.
Am I okay? Okay. This we talking about this word grumble. What comes to mind with the children of Israel in the wilderness, and they say it talk about they grumbled against the leadership. They grumbled against Moshe and Aharon, and usually that was always followed by a judgment, right? Like when they murmured against him for having his wife, they didn't like his wife, and then Miriam got leprosy. Oh yeah, the Cushite. So whenever there was, Korah, and that was just outright rebellion. There was definitely judgment there. So
Those are
we
divine
gotta
cats
go
for
watch our
sure.
mouth. Watch the murmur.
Watch your mouth, you said it right. Watch your mouth, your heart showing.
Anyone else? All right. Verse 10, as an example of suffering and patience, brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the name of Yahuah. Behold, we consider those blessed who remain steadfast. You have heard of the steadfastness of Job, and have seen the purpose of Yahuah, how Yahuah is compassionate and merciful. All right. All right. 1 Peter 4:7-9. The end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be self-controlled and sober-minded for the sake of your prayers. Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling. We done got that back again. All right. Can you show love and respect to one another without having something to say behind their back? Right now, can you do it? Okay. That didn't sound convincing. All right. Hebrews 10:25. Not neglecting to meet together, as in the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Did you have anxiety about going out there in them woods with everybody? Did you think, oh man, they're gonna be there? How long we gotta stay in these woods? 8 days.
We enjoyed ourselves. We
Please
learned
take
a
that
lot.
mic from him. Take that mic from him. Yeah, you enjoyed yourself somewhere else. 1 Corinthians 3:13-15. Each one's work will become manifest, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. If the work that anyone has built on the foundation survives, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. And one more that's going to complement that. Matthew 12:36-37. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word. Now, the Greek word for careless there is a G692, is argos. It means every idle, every lazy, every useless, And every inactive word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. So again, I ask you, when you come in contact with somebody that you know you really don't have a fondness for, what are you saying behind their back? In the assembly setting now, we're not supposed to, when he's commanded to you to come together and enjoy. You read that, right? When you do this feast, you're supposed to be all together in joy. Not when you get back to your tent, I can't stand here. You see what he was doing there at that table? Hmm? I'm just trying to get you all to understand that this is it's about action now. All right. This isn't just a tradition anymore. This is something that you actually have to practice. We done read this a million times before and just thought of it as, all right, I'm going to go to this feast day. We're going to do these 8 days and that's it. It's going to go back to normal. That time is over. All right.
Kanisha has her hand up.
Go ahead, Kanisha.
Thank you, Tada. Okay, so my question is, Moreh, then I know we're going to be judged by our words are basically going to judge us. So once we make it right and we have shalom in situations, are those words still going to judge us in the fact that your like the grumbling has to outweigh the, I guess the making it right, or the, like once we get it together and we're making it part of us, then will those words come back once we've, like as some will say, put it under the blood and been atoned for and things like that? So yeah.
What's that verse in Matthew's about leaving your gift at the altar and doing something before you come back to it? All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so leave your gift at the altar and go get it right.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer the question, no, once things have been amended, once you've made things right with each other and with Yahuah, then it is cast and see for forgetfulness, remember no more. Also, but it's talking about specifically things that you have not done. That's what it's really about. But everything that we've, he has a design. The design for, let's say, Yom Kippur basically is for us to, get it right by then. But if a lot of us think we can wait until that time and something happens to you on that, if you didn't make it on that judgment day, every idle word will be held accountable because you took the time to be what? Idle, lazy. Okay. So because you become that way, everything will be judged of your heart of that matter.
Toda.
All right, you have a question on YouTube. What about if you speak sarcastically to yourself?
You gonna have to talk to yourself and say, self, I'm sorry. Can we talk before atonement starts? I know atonement about to start, self. So look, self, I'm sorry, self. Huh?
Yeah. I think that'd been on the lines of that person would want to learn how to forgive themselves. I'm thinking in a broader sense, because I'm not sure if what the person is asking, but you have the opportunity to forgive yourself. Now, if you don't know how to forgive yourself, then that'd be a different question. But if you know how to forgive yourself, you have to walk in that forgiveness. I messed up. I did this. I can't believe what I have done, how I thought this thing out towards this person, how evil I was, X, Y, and Z, whatever that is. You then ask for forgiveness. If you've done this to somebody, of course, you get that right, but you still got to get it right with yourself and with Yah. And then once that's done and you legitimately believe that your heart has been humbled and afflicted your heart for that matter, then and forgive, you have to walk that thing out in righteousness, and then he will forgive you.
Naamana's hand is up.
Go ahead, Naamana.
Naamana?
Slika Moreh Chanan.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think I understand what the threshing floor means.
Oh, you going way back. Okay.
Yeah, he was sharing basically that since he had talked about it as a homework assignment.
No, Moreh. I need to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I know, Moreh, but I don't want you to answer my question.
Oh, no, I won't. I'm not going to answer. Trust me.
Okay, but I just need to speak before my minute is up.
Oh, you will. I'm gonna give you an extra minute after I share with you what he was trying to say.
Oh,
All right.
Moreh, you're gonna answer my question. I know you
No,
are.
no. I'm not gonna answer your question at all. Actually, what I'm gonna share is he was basically stating that because he made it a homework assignment on Pesach, and he wanted to know what you all studied, what came out of it, and then so he asked that question in Sukkot. But because no one really studied it out, he's wanting everybody just to study, and he's not going to answer no one. And that when you study it, he's going to come back with a lesson about that threshing floor. Okay, so now if you want to answer your question, by all means, go ahead.
I understand more specifically what it means. It basically, I was like, wait a minute, this was a homework assignment, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I did it. But I understand what it means. It's basically like a separation. It's a revelation, and it's a separation in a revelation for us. And when you think about the threshing floor, it separates like the grain, from the straw. I could go on, but I'm not going to continue to take up much time, but I think I get the gist of it.
Oh, okay. Yep. So when you study it out, you're going to see that there's a little bit more in depth that he's looking for.
Yeah, but I'm not going to just blur it out because this is not the time.
Right. Okay, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Go ahead, Kanisha.
Thank you. Okay, so what if it's nothing the person has done, nor is it anything that you have done, but it's just like maybe ways of that person maybe causes you to grumble or causes you to, like, it triggers something, like, you know what I mean? So it's like just the person's character, it's the person's, so you can't go to that person and be like, the way you are really triggers something in my, so.
Right. You're talking about basically like their personality just kind of sets you off, or
I don't know about setting me off, but maybe like it's like a trigger and it creates like a tinge of like, I don't know,
irritation,
like irritation or
squeezing in the middle of the toothpaste. Why you gotta squeeze in the middle of the toothpaste, man? Squeezing the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but
so.
It's this. Bottom line is their personality or their ways makes a person feel certain. But we've had some of those situations where the easiest way to do is talk to that person. Go to them behind closed doors and say, listen, this way or that way kind of makes me feel a certain way. But some things is just a person's personality, and either if both parties want to meet in the middle, they can meet in the middle. But you can't realistically, so if a person can say for this here, the way I'm doing, there's nothing wrong. I didn't commit no sin. That's just the way I am. Right. And then, but the other person's like, yeah, but the way you talk, the way you chew gum just irritates me. The way you it's like, that means you might have a problem. You see what I mean? And so then you have to sit down and say, okay, so the person can say, hey, I'm willing to change a little bit of this, but I still got to share with you. But if this irritates you,
you need to ask yourself why.
Then you got to ask, personally, like, why is this irritating me? Why is this person really this way? You might come to find out that if you're willing to communicate with that person is willing to communicate with you, it can be resolved.
Okay, but there's two parts to that, Moreh. So what if bringing it up could cause like that person to like maybe they can't handle that type of a conversation, or it can tear someone down. So at that point, do you just like grin and bear, or and work it out with the father and it's a your person, it's a your problem.
Okay, but the father's not in that portion of that. So at the end of the day, you know, the if it cannot be resolved, then there's always judges and witnesses to help mediate that. But at the end of the day, in that mediation, some people's ways are just some people's ways. You know, and at the end of the day, if it's causing you to sin, then that's the problem. Is why is it not you personally? I'm just saying in general, why would it cause this person to sin? And say, well, it don't cause me to sin. It's just irritating. Okay, well, if this person is irritating, why is it irritating you? You know, something in you is irritated. That person is not irritated. The other person is irritated. So when that other person is irritated, that person needs to express why it's irritating. What makes it an irritation to you? You see what I mean? So that's when you start realizing sometimes for some people, it could be the other person and not so much the original person that they're saying is there. Now, if you can say, well, this person and that person, this person is irritating like everybody. Okay, well, then that same person can come with humility. Because again, at the end of the day, is if we're trying to come together as a chad or as a unit, we really need to learn how to talk to one another and without getting easily offended, as it was said earlier, you know, and so that's what I would share. But now if this person irritates 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, then that person would need to receive it as well. So in other words, I talk to the other person that's irritated, but the person that's doing the irritation might need to also realize that person could be themselves, you know, that person, and that they might need to want to change, you know, just to say, okay, you know what, I didn't know, or I see myself, or I'm starting to understand what you're saying. And thank you for doing it. But they have to have an open mind, open heart to be able to receive it.
So
in other words, it starts with you. Oh, go ahead.
Aki Kanan, what's the root word for mummer?
What now?
What's the root word for mummer?
For murmur?
Yeah.
That's a good question. You know? G47? The Greek or the Hebrew? Yeah. Anyone else? All right. So for the sake of time, we're going to get through this other part here. So, no, we don't. Yeah, we all know that's Israel. So what are those since you? Okay. All right. So question, someone describe to me what a community is. I should have everybody's hand up. Huh? Everybody want to be in one. Nobody wants to describe it. Yeah. Oh, you
I'm back.
outside?
I'm here.
There
I'm
you
here.
go.
Oh, there we go. Is it the Hebrew word kahal or kehila, like the assembly? You use these words already.
But that's for
The
a
aser.
simple. That's for a simple.
Sorry.
That's the
But
gather.
is kahal or kehila the word for community though?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Slika, I wait.
But I'm asking, can you tell me what it means? What does it mean to be in a community?
What it means to be in a community, or just what a
Describe to me
community
what a
is?
community is. I'm sorry.
Community. I would say a community is
This is something y'all want to be in
how would I
now.
say? It's like I would say maybe like a society of people, a collective group of people that is operating together. Life is governed by the community. You know, it's a collective effort. It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay, you in the field at least.
Is it a group of people working and living together?
Okay, you about
Nah,
to finish.
Mana has her hand up.
Hold on, let Keenan go first. Go ahead, Keenan. No, you outside. There you go. Oh, he done.
Well,
pulled up
according to Google, I got
he done
two.
pulled up Google.
I got two definitions. It's a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common.
Okay, if you're going to use Google, go down a little further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says a social unit with communities such as norms, religion, values, customs, or identity. They share a sense of place situated in a given geographical area or in a virtual space through communication platforms. Yeah, that was on Wikipedia though, so some people don't like that.
Can't use that in college. Who else? Who was online? Not a minor.
Moreh, I was just basically gonna say a group of people living together with the same common interests and goals.
Oh, nice. So I guess what Moreh was saying too, right? It is a community, it is a social, right? So it goes back to that verse we read, right? For 7 days you shall keep the feast of Yahuah, your Elohim, at the place that Yahuah will choose. Right? It's all about coming together as one for a purpose or a common goal. In this case, in a community, that would be every single day. So I'm gonna ask again, could you do this from what we have learned so far with this lesson?
So do you mean like raising your hand? Could we do this? Or are we basically, I mean, some of us can honestly say
Be
we
honest.
can.
Yeah.
And some of us can say no. But the point is the design of the scriptures is for us to be one. That is the design.
Mhm.
And that design is based off of a community with guidance, with leadership, with the Father as the head. In other words, that's a community. So if everyone agrees that that's what I want, then that's fine. But I think, as you said earlier, I think some of the problem is that they don't know how,
Right.
or they don't know the definition of it, and so therefore it's kind of hard for them to say, I want to do what the word says, but I don't practically know how to walk that out. And I think that's the issue.
I think that's where we are today. Is that togetherness that we just don't know how to gel with it, right? All right. Another question. Someone tell me about unity. Unity. Nobody. So don't nobody want to unite?
Nah, Minor has a hand up.
All right. 1 second.
Me personally, for the unity to actually develop, everybody gotta know their role. Everybody can't be teachers. Everybody can't be fighters. You gotta be real with each other. No fake stuff going on. So that's the only way unity could be alike with each other. Everybody gotta think alike.
You said not a mono?
Shalom, Moreh.
Shalom.
Coming together with the same mind and same goal and same intentions to make and to have a positive outcome.
Read those similarities, right? The union, unification, integration, right? That's all the opposite of division or disunity. Huh? All right. Anybody else have anything different? Well, tell me, what does integration mean then? I don't think y'all want to be in a camp or a community or anything.
Integration. I mean, when I hear the same word community comes, it's like to be integrated into a community, to be integrated into a whole, to be a part of something.
Right. All right. Who has a hand? Nama?
In Moreh, it still means to unite.
Yeah. All right,
To
JR,
be
what
like
did you?
interwoven, to be together.
Okay. JR?
I would say a group of people coming together as one to worship.
All right. All right. So let's read Psalms 130, 133 and 1. Did anybody else have a hand up? I'm sorry. No, you go ahead, Shemai. Go ahead. You gotta let me know who. Hold on, let me. We'll need to hear from her.
Do a little bit of symbolism. When I think of integration, I think of like when you mix ingredients together. Once you mix it together and combine it together, you can't separate the ingredients. It's combined. It's together. It's one. So that's what I think of when I think of integration. And also assimilation.
Mm-hmm. Good. Put it all together, huh?
I got one.
No. No. That is not what she meant. I will get my stones ready. All right. Behold how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity. All right. Or it says, or dwell together. Right. So it's always a beautiful thing when we all can come together for Yahuah's feast days, right? But what about after that? Hmm? Is the unity supposed to stop just because the feast days is over?
No,
Hmm?
no,
So why does it?
because I'm tired of seeing y'all.
There we go again. There we go. That same person that got on your nerve that whole 8 days, right? Yeah, no, you ain't saying- that's exactly what it is, right? There is still something telling us that we can't trust each other enough to be around each other for a long period of time. That's what we have to change. I think that's why we keep saying the time is near. Because you got to see, just what Kanisha was talking about, whatever that problem is, you got to look at yourself first and see, why can't I get along with these people for more than one day? All right. We can keep on going. Good. All right. Keep on going. All right. The H3162, Yahuah, it's a unit. All right. To be alike, all at once, both lines, all together. All right. That's where we're supposed to be. Right now. All right. It still means a community, means together, being all together. Or like everybody else is saying, it's a union or association or a community. So everybody hit those points. Okay. All right. First Chronicles 12, 16, and 18. And some of the men of Benjamin and Yehudah came to the stronghold to David. David went out to meet them and said to them, if you have come to me in friendship to help me, my heart will be joined, or Yahuah, to you. But if you come to betray me to my adversaries, although there is no wrong in my hands, then may the Elohim of our fathers see and rebuke you. Then the spirit of the Ruach clove Amasai, the chief of the 30, and he said, we are yours, O David, and with you, O son of Jesse. Peace, peace, or shalom, shalom to you, and shalom to your helpers, for your Elohim helps you. Then David received them and made them officers of his troops. Now, let's read that one more time in the Septuagint. And David went out to meet them and said to them, if you are to come to me with good intent, let my heart as it is disposed be knit to you. But if you betray me to my enemies and not with sincerity, may the Elohim of our father see and rebuke you. That's where I think we are. You can say that you for somebody with your mouth, but when it actually comes down to action, do you really do that? See, David had wisdom. He already knew, listen, if you're going to be for me, that's what you need to do. You need to be for me. But if I find out that you're not, then the proper way would be to let Yahuah take it. But the thing is, if you're not there for the same purpose as he is, why are you there? If you're not doing these feast days for the same reason the Father told you to, why are you doing them? That's where we are. It's all going to repeat itself. So it's at that stage when we start doing Pesach again, you need to start asking yourself these questions before these feast days start again, all right? Just saying, I'm just a messenger. Mhm. Genesis 13 and 8. Then Abram said to Lot, let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. And the Hebrew says we are men. We are brothers. We're supposed to be brothers. Huh? Hebrews 13 and 1. Let brotherly love continue. Some people don't know what that is. Romans 12, 9 and 10. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Huh? First Peter 1:22, having purified your souls by your obedience to the truth for a sincere brotherly love. Love one another earnestly from a pure heart. All right. First Peter 3:8. Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, and a tender heart and a humble mind. We talked about being humble and all these other lessons. Is that still an issue? Okay, I already told y'all that humility is the key, right? I already told y'all that. All right, this is the G3675, right? It's homophone, all right? Means to be like-minded, i.e. harmonious, one of one mind, united in spirit or rule. Let me keep going because I already know what he's saying. Romans 12:16, let's keep going. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. You got something to say? Go ahead.
Just thinking about the unity of mind, right?
Mhm.
So if you find yourself in unity with someone who has a cantankerous spirit, that means you have a cantankerous spirit. So y'all get along just fine. Yeah. So if you find yourself getting along with people who have a calm ruach, that might mean you have a calm ruach. Yeah. So you'll find what you're attracted to, that ruach will attract you. The person keeping up mess and always got something in their mouth, and you're a ruach attracted to it, you might want to put the brakes on and say, wait a minute. Yeah. Especially if somebody bring it to your attention. You might want to be careful walking down that road. You know, oh, ain't nothing wrong. We just da, but y'all got the same kind of ruach, so you don't see nothing wrong with it. You're like-minded. Yeah.
Okay, so the last part here, I think we can sum all of this up. I think, what's this? Oh, well, hold on, let's read this first. All right, Philippians 2:2-5. All right, complete my joy by being of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility. They go that word humility again. You see what I say? We still have a heart problem when it comes to this. Yeah. As like I said before, humility is the key to a lot of things, right? Count others more significant than yourselves, right? So I said here, being humble comes with being obedient. Most of the time, we as individuals don't say to ourselves, let me be humble in a certain situation. It's the Father that makes us humble ourselves. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't do it. And you all have been brought down low at some point. I heard the testimonies, right? That's only because he loved you. If he didn't love you, he wouldn't do it because you would still be doing the same foolishness that he tried to get you to stop in the first place. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Do for others as you would do for yourselves. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Yahuah Mashiach. If this is what our perfect example does, this is what you should be doing. Go ahead, King.
I've heard it before that it is very important that we humble ourselves, otherwise the Father will humble us. And I've always been told that prior to that, you really don't want Yahuah to humble you because it can be very bad depending on the situation.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what, you need to, you need to like really like, you need to humble
That's
yourself.
why you need to do it yourself.
Yeah, otherwise when he do it, he get a hold of you, and you be like, oh my
it's gonna
goodness.
be 10 times worse.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure we was all on board. Make sure we had the same mind, we was unified. I had to make sure we was good.
Yeah. Oh no, nobody said it was gonna be nice when he did it for you. That's why he gives you the chance to do it yourself. That's where that steadfastness comes from.
Mana has her hand up.
Go ahead, Nana.
See, Moreh, on Romans 12:16, when it says live in harmony with one another and do not be haughty haughty, but associate with the lowly. Does that mean within the Knesset or like just worldly people?
No, that is
All
with
right.
your brothers and your
So
sisters.
associate with the lowly. Everybody's not on the same educational level or economic level,
Mhm.
right? So you're gonna have all kinds in the assembly. We got the
Multitude.
poor, the widows, the orphans. That
Mhm.
associates those that may not have
I'm
as
the-
much as others.
I'm the poor. I'm the poor.
So even if you have a lot, don't sometimes people think I'm at a certain status and I
Mhm.
can't condescend. I can't come down and have a general conversation with someone that's not on my same
Until the Father get a hold of
intellectual level. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying? So that's one of those things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we
Oh
talking about
gosh.
community.
Gosh. Okay. I understand. I got you. Toda Moreh.
Mhm. So again, yeah. So again, remember, it's just talking about the people that's inside that community. It's just inside the truth, right? We're talking about everybody. Yeah, they're talking about everybody that's inside the truth that has accepted the covenant and wants to be in this community together. Okay, it's for us.
So just so you're clear, is when it says one another, it's specifically talking about those that are walking this walk. Now, what that also means, though, if you are like this, and that's a part of your being, by default, whoever you come around that's outside the walk is still going to see that same light.
Okay, yeah, that's why I was wondering, Moreh, because like for example, you guys know I'm a gardener, right? So I have like an abundance. The Most High has blessed my hand with my garden. So I give a lot to people, and it doesn't matter, rich, poor, I don't care. I just give. I just give to people. So it doesn't matter if you need here, take this, and I give. That's why I was wondering about this. Don't be haughty, which I'm definitely not a haughty person, but I do give to people. I give to the lowly. I give to whomever needs, whoever could use, whatever I have in my garden.
All right.
Oh, did you
Hallelujah.
hear me?
Yeah, we heard you.
Okay, ta-da.
We heard you. Hallelujah. You get out. All right. All right. So the last couple of slides here, I think we can kind of put all this into one category when it comes to these feast days and how we treat them. The love-hate relationship. So someone tell me, what do you think of when you think of a love-hate relationship? Now, keep in mind, this does not have to be just between a man and a woman.
A love-hate relationship can be you have an appreciation for the other person, but you also have a certain level of tolerance for the things that aren't acceptable from them.
Okay. Anybody else? Oh.
Now, positive, negative. Some things you like, some things you don't.
Yin and yang. Oh, Duma, you got something to say? What? You better get her that mic. I want to hear this. Huh? Yeah. It's on. Go ahead. No, it's not.
Okay, so love-hate relationship, it could be with anything. It could be something you love, but there's something about it that you just really hate. But you take the two of them together, even though you hate it, you love it too. There are things you love about it, but there are things you really, really hate.
Okay. All right. So a love-hate relationship is an interpersonal relationship involving simultaneously or altering emotions of love and hate. Something particularly common when emotions are intense. All right. So now, for the second time, let's go and get here. So when it comes to hate, as a verb, it's to feel intense or passionate or have a dislike for someone. All right. As a noun, it means to have an intense or passionate dislike for something. And it's similar, you're loathing or you hate something or you detest something. Right. All this is the opposite of loving and or liking. All right. All right. So the H8130 is a name. It's a prime root to hate personally, have an enemy or a foe, to be hateful, right? Genesis 26 and 27, Isaac said to them, why have you come to me seeing that you hate or dislike me and have sent me away from you? Mhm. In Exodus 20 and 5, you shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who what? Dislike or hate me. All right, and Deuteronomy 12:31, you should not worship Yahuwah your Elohim in the way for every abominable thing that Yahuwah hates, they have done for their Elohims. For they have even, oh, I don't know what this is. Yeah, they have even burned their sons and their daughters in the fire to their Elohims. I was gonna have a whole spiel about that, but I let that one go. You say? Okay. Now, when it comes to love, as a noun, it's an intense feeling of deep affection. And as a verb, is to feel deep affection for someone. Or you even have down here is to like or enjoy something very much. So this is all the opposite of hating and loathing and detesting. Now, in the Hebrew, the H157 is a hav. It's a prime root to have an affection for sexually or otherwise, to be loved, to be liked, or to be a friend. All right. An affection in a good or bad sense. Now, we have here is to desire, to breathe after anything. You can see this in Psalms 40 and 16. But may all who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. May those who love your salvation say continually, great is Yahuwah. What you say? Oh, okay. To love, and because he loved your fathers and chose their offspring after them and brought you out of Egypt with his own presence by his great power. That's Deuteronomy 4 and 37. Hosea 12 and 7, to delight in anything, a merchant in whose hands are false balances, he loves to oppress. And lastly, Exodus 20 and 6, love Elohim by showing steadfast love to thousands of them, those who love me and keep my commandments. Now, we have, okay, I already had Exodus 26, Hosea 3 and 1, Elohim loves, right? And Yahuwah said to me, go again, love a woman who is loved by another man and is an adulteress. Even as Yahuwah loves the children of Israel, though they turn to other Elohims and love cakes of raisins. You don't like raisin cake? Oh my goodness. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. So the Father still loves his children even though they go out and seek other Elohims. My question, do we have that type of love for one another? Even when we do something bad to one another, can we still love each other? Without conditional?
So my question would be, knowing that we're not supposed to go and follow other Elohim, would that person still be considered a part of the assembly if they're willingly going out there to search for something else?
Oh man, I would have one stone in this hand. And, that's what I'll be doing to him if it was in that type of setting, you know. All right. Now,
Don't worry.
It's gonna come back to that time. Now, even though someone might do you wrong, are you still willing to love them enough to not pretend you to like them?
Yeah. Yeah. Loving them, not to pretend I like them.
That comes with that's easier said than done, though, right? Yeah. So, you know, if you do, then you know, we need to have a love of oneness with one another. This is what this whole lesson was about. All right. Loving one another is an action. It's not something you should take for granted, right? With all of these feast days, that's like I said with the threshing floor. We started at the beginning, we came to the end. You still have that same time at the beginning to try to work all these things out all the way up to the end. we have a heart problem when it comes to each other. That's why we talked about enduring with one another, because this is the time we're gonna have to start enduring with one another. If you want to follow the tabernacle with you. If not, if you want, yeah. Because when it comes to the threshing floor, like I was going to get the other hint, you had to think about the wheat and the tares. You have to think about that separation that is going to happen. You know, and the question will be, what side are you going to be on? All right. Any questions? Don't cry.
Hallelujah.
Don't cry.
Moreh, I
Hallelujah.
sent you a question.
You sent me a question.
Yeah,
In chat.
Wait, where you sending it?
in chat.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What's the question? Is it private? Is it a private question?
Yeah, it was a
Oh.
question I asked you before.
You did.
On his private phone.
It's oh. Well, they're gonna save it for me because I can't see it right now.
Hold on.
Oh, they say that they don't see the private message. You might
don't
have to
see
write
the-
it. You might have
You
to
check
text
your
it to me.
phone.
No, it ain't on my phone now.
Oh, no, I sent it to you this way on chat, Moreh.
Okay.
Is it on? They don't see it, so I will send it to me on
And
the
the monitors don't see it right now.
or,
It
or,
says
or the
to the
phone.
past of
All right.
Uh-huh.
I'm already stepped down for a minute.
Is it?
Well,
They are.
they are.
Okay, so I have a quick question. When it comes to everything that we are learning, pretty much we learn these things to be able to deal with the brethren, those who are in the faith with us. How do we use this, or I don't know, not use this to deal with other people outside of the faith who impact us in such a way that it changes, I don't know if I want to say our behavior, or it makes us function in such a way where it calls us to come out of character or just not be ourselves? Because for me, it's easy to just be like, I'm gonna shut them down or shut them out. But I know that I'm still responsible for walking in the ways of the Father, whether I'm dealing with the brethren or sisters within the faith, or
Question. You just answered
But
your
I'm
own question. There's a certain way to deal with people on the outside versus people that are in the truth. But
do
the
you just
first
cut
thing-
them off?
The first thing is you have to deal with what it is that gets you to that point where you come out of character with them. Remember, we were talking about with Kenesha, you have to look inside yourself first to figure out what the issue is before you even go to them.
Right. So it's to give you a quick example, like when it comes to the forgiving process, like I was going over a video Moreh Chanan did, and he gave like a process that we have to do first before we even get to the person. So you go through that process with yourself, you get to the person, you go through that portion of it. And for me, I'm the type of person, once I do that, I'm good. I don't carry anything over to the next day. And then when I enter into that person's presence, it's no ill feeling, but then they continue to stab you and stab you and stab you. And it's like, okay, you stabbed me 10 times. I know how to deal with my brethren in the faith, but like with this person outside, do I still like keep doing that?
I don't know. If you know that person's if you know you're dealing with a black mamba,
You gotta get away from it.
I don't think I'm gonna keep sticking my hand in
you
the
gonna
black
keep putting
mamba's.
putting your hand by his mouth.
You know, if I don't have to, if I don't have to deal with them on an everyday basis, I won't. I'll deal with
Right.
them
So,
when I have to.
and I guess that's what my point is. It's certain people that, like, I don't have to deal with them, but I guess when it comes to like our parents, that's, I guess, yeah.
I mean, they're your parents, yeah, but you don't have to deal with whatever is putting you in that certain state of mind that taking you out of character.
Right. Okay.
You can still honor your parents without having to deal with them all the time.
You got any examples?
Yeah. Can I have an example?
Because I deal with my parents every day, so there's a difference. I have no choice.
You had no choice.
I have no choice in that matter, but it's a difference than somebody's. If a parent has been active in your life most of your life, and it's hard for them to release you or even see you as an adult. So that's the one thing that the parent has learned. Like, I'm a parent of older children. I have a 27-year-old. She turns 28 this year, I believe, and I got a 21-year-old. So I have to look at them not as children anymore, but as budding adults, and they're going to be facing their own trials. So my job as a parent has to step back, release. Sometimes parents have a hard time with that. And then don't talk about if you're coming with a new understanding and you're trying to share it with them. Now they really want to shut you down because you just got here yesterday. What are you talking about? So now it becomes wisdom on your part to say, well, you can love your parents. You can make sure that they have what they need and taken care of, but you don't have to be in their presence 24 days, 7 days a week. You call them that one time a week like you normally do. How you doing? Is everything okay? If they need anything, they will call you. But if they don't have to talk to them, then let them stay where they are and just keep them in prayer.
Shalom.
Toda.
Shalom. So to I guess add to that scenario, what happens if, like you said, this is mainly for the people in the walk, and we don't have to deal with those outside. But what happens if you're in a predicament where you need a person to help you that is not in the walk, and you have to deal with them, or you don't have many options, so they're the option that you have to deal with consistently, and they're consistently doing something to offend you, or like they're a parent or a family member or somebody or whatever, and they consistently doing something that offend you, but they're not in this walk, so they don't have the same conviction that we have. Like, how do you deal with that, knowing that I guess for the moment you have to be in that situation because that's just your situation at the moment?
You got to ask for that? I got to ask.
I'm not in that situation.
I have a different thought on it, because the first thing when you say I need them, my question would be is, why do you believe you need them? If Yah can provide all your needs, if Yah can send somebody, in other words, if that person that's not in the walk has been placed in your life to help you, then you humble yourself and allow that person to do what they have to do. But sometimes we like to, when they're in that helping mode, not saying this is what you're talking about, but when they're in that helping mode, we like to give information and advice we like to pour it in, and then that's making them irritated. But if you keep it as whatever the help is, then you stick with whatever that help is. If they're trying to give you anything extra, it's, oh, I'm good on that. Thank you, Toda, but I just need this here. You keep it to the help.
Right. So going back to like we were saying earlier, somebody does something to bother you or aggravate you, irritate you, offend you. Let's say I break my leg, you know what I mean? And the only person who's there is my father to take care of me. But my father does it like complaining, you know what I mean? Oh man, every time I come here, man, you know what I mean? Go ask somebody else, man. Whatever it is, something that just is offensive, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's continuous, it's perpetual, right. But they're not in the walk. So you can't at the moment, that's who the person you need, that's the person who's taking care of you. So like, what do you do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's like that same scenario that you were referring to. If you think your father's the only one that can help you, there's a problem. Because if you're in the walk and you're saying, I got brothers and sisters, how is that the only person that can help you? So that's why I'm saying I would have a different thought on that, in that then whoever, let's say they're not going home, go somewhere. In other words, who says that this person has to be this? And then if you put yourself in that position, then you put yourself there. It's not like you don't have an option. It's just that this option is the easiest for you. And so because this person is doing this with the complaints, I just have to deal with the complaints because this is the easiest for me. But you may have to take the hard road. The hard road is believe that Yah is going to do it, right? And get out of that situation, because sometimes we're thinking that when we put things into our own hands, Yah's not in that portion of it, for the most part. This is my only option. Or, Father, you know what? I'm gonna let your will be done. I'm gonna reach out, and you'll be surprised who the Father sends your way to help you out. So that's what I'm saying, is I don't think you worry about, because it kind of sounds like this in your example, this person's forced to be with this particular person. And I'm saying, I don't think that person's forced. I think this is the most convenient for this person. And with this convenience, it becomes inconvenient because of that person's mouth, but this person's still taking care of you.
You will
see what I
tolerate
mean?
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
He supplies all your needs. Ain't that one he supplies all your needs. And and not only that, the person that he's going to send your way, they're going to be obedient. You see, but you got to let Yah do it. You got to allow him to move. But when you've already made in your mind, I got a plan, I'm sticking to it.
It's not going to work.
And there's no other way in your mind. Then okay, then
You about to get strong. You're about to get strong.
All right, Xavier.
You got a bad message?
Well, I didn't necessarily have a question. I just had a comment. I just wanted to say, Toda for the message. It was very powerful to me. I realized that we have a lot of us have a distorted understanding of what needs to happen. And it really hit home for me when you spoke about, community and unity. And what I realized is, without that, we can't win at all. And one of the things that I tell my family members a lot of times when it comes to being in this walk or learning about the faith is, you got to understand that we're in a battle right now. And there's a lot of things that we're up against. And me being in the military, one of the things that we was always constantly preached to was always be ready, always staying at the ready and staying on guard. So learning how to get rid of a lot of that distortion and learning how to function properly, we'd be encouraged to do so more if we understood the power that came with it. I can't use my weapon if I don't know how to use it, for one, and if it doesn't function. And here I am calling myself a soldier out here on the field, and I'm with my fellow brethren, and we all out here. And once the enemy comes, we're gonna lose because we're not unified. We're not on one accord. The same thing goes like when you think of in terms of a sports team. You can have the most talented person on your team, but if you go against another team that's unified and on one accord, and they know what they're doing, they gonna get rid of you all day, every day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kanisha
and Amana.
Toda, I just wanted to make a comment as well in regards to the community aspect. I'm someone, when I was in the world and not in this walk, I would walk like alone, like because certain ways I didn't want to associate myself with, so I found myself not being able to connect with most women. But I do have to say hallelujah for the women, the Akotis in this assembly, because even in this feast days of the Sukkot, there were some that reached out to me, and I mean, just it's like they could almost hear it through text messages or in the chat, like how frazzled I was in a chat, not even talking, but just the community. I'm learning that the community is very, very key in this walk. So I'm grateful. So hallelujah for that.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, Namana.
Shalom. I just want to
Shalom.
say Toda, Toda, Moreh, Yashara, Moreh Chanan, and also Moreh Lamadyahu, and also the speaker. I didn't get his name, but
Moreh Mikael. Yeah. Moreh Mikael. Yeah.
Mikael. for a wonderful and a powerful lesson. I learned a lot, and I also learned a lot about myself. Um, and sometimes we can come into this walk with preconceived notions, and I'm like, yeah, well, no, that's not going to work. That is just, that's a negative. That's not going to work. And learning to just let go and let Yah, just let it go, and let him be Yah. Let him do what he's going to do, and to just
No. Oh.
Oh, okay.
I
Slick
said,
got 60
Go,
seconds.
go ahead and finish.
Hold on.
We didn't hear what you were
Let her
saying.
finish. Let her finish. Go ahead. Is she back on? Did you unmute her?
Good.
Now, Mana, you can.
can.
There you
Yeah,
go. We didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
We need you to
finish.
finish.
Yeah, to just humbly submit to him and let him be Yah, and stop, because I was like, these preconceived notions are not going to work in this walk. It's just a negative. And just let him be Yah. I really had to come to a realization of that, and I found myself doing that. I was like, what are you doing? Stop doing that. So that's just
Hallelujah.
me. Yeah, hallelujah. Baruch Hashem Yahuah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right.
So we're in the 8th day. Hallelujah.
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 All right. And 8th day is a solemn assembly.
Mhm.
Right. And Moreh Lamadyahu is going to take us more into that as we're closing out this.
All right.
And that was more, and that was Mikael speaking.
Sika?
That was Moreh and Mikael
When?
when he was speaking earlier.
Yeah, earlier today, the class, yeah.
Toda, Moreh and Mikael. Hallelujah.
All right. Hallelujah. All right. Yeah, it's a wrap now. Okay, so the last great day. I'm hoping that we understand that the whole point of this process, specifically all the feasts, is geared towards him tabernacling with us. And on the last great day is the day where after the tabernacle is complete, there's going to be another thing that takes place on this 8th day. So if you've made yourself ready from the time it started to the 8th day, you're going to see that on this great day. Technically, the 8th day is dealing with a new circumcised way. And I'm only saying it right now because it will be a lesson you guys may want to hear about. But like, when does the men get circumcised? On the 8th day. There's a connection about this 8th day circumcision with the 8th day of the feast. Okay, specifically for women, circumcision of the heart, right? But there is a connection between the two. So if you have not circumcised your heart by the 8th day, you really have a problem with Yah. That's just how that works. All right. So he's giving us so much time to get it right with one another. And some of us like to wait to the last minute to get it right. That is not healthy. Right. So if you're that type of person and you learn that about yourself, this will be the time to learn how to start changing that. All right. And then so hopefully as you go forward, because you know what happens if you don't say anything, right? Here comes that 11. See, and then it'd be so much that you start looking at that person differently. Right. And then you're trying to figure out how to get out of that mode because you view this person a certain way going forward. And that's not healthy at all, especially where we're all trying to strive to be in the kingdom. And I know I believe I can speak with everybody here and online. We definitely want everybody of Yah's children to be with Yah in the promised land. I think all of us agree to that, but we're just having a struggle with some of us are just having a struggle with each other sometimes, or having a struggle within ourselves, or dealing with other people. And so what I'm getting at is he's wanting us to clean this up now. So I hope that everyone, is willing to humble and submit and i.e. circumcise their heart so that on that great day, everybody will be with Yah. All right? All right. Any questions? Oh, Kanisha, you had a question?
Shalom, Moreh, this is Michael.
Hey, Mike.
We keep switching each other's accounts.
Ah, y'all got
So
different microphones, huh? Okay.
we're just trying to fake you out here.
Gotcha.
So real quick, and it's not to do with this study, but Kanisha and I were watching a study that you did a while back on DNA.
Uh-huh.
And in the video you said there is going to be an additional video on DNA, and I didn't ever find one. Did you ever do another study on that, or do you intend to?
Yeah, I did two. I did one more after that, but I did it in a different way. But I plan on doing one specifically just for DNA part 2. So I haven't done that one yet. They got me doing so much work out here. You know, if I get freed up to do that, I definitely would love to do that part, because I really do want to talk about, you know, basically the proteins in our body and how that connects with the Father's word and ligaments and things like that. But the Hebrew words behind those things and where they got those Hebrew words from and why they operate the same way in our life spiritually. So I do want to definitely do that. So I definitely look forward to doing that.
Yep, totally. I was looking forward to that, especially with kind of all the odd stuff that we have going on nowadays with the the vaccinations and stuff, and how that potentially affects people's DNA. So I think that it's appropriate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. As soon as they free me up, Aki, I'll be ready to.
Toda.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? All right. No one online? Okay. Who's closing out?
All right. Sharat Yahuah.
Okay. Oh, you stand up here. All hearts and minds cleared. Toda Rebab Yahuah, Baruch Hashem Yahuah Eloheinu Malach Haolam. Ab Yahuah, we give you praise, honor, and esteem, Father, for bringing us to this moment in time of this great set apart time, Ab Yahuah, your Mordim, Ab Yahuah, with giving us the understanding, Father, that you have given us through those, Father, who you placed in front of us to give us the teaching and the understanding of your word. Ab Yahuah, we give you the honor and the praise and the esteem that you deserve. For every time, Ab Yahuah, you show us something that we did not know, and you confirm in our hearts that your word is true, we give you the praise for that, Ab Yahuah. We give you the praise for all of the mishpachah, for every testimony that was given, for every understanding, Father, that was brought forth through the questions and through the answers. Ab Yahuah, we just give you the praise and the honor for that. We ask, Ab Yahuah, that you will continue, Ab Yahuah, to open the eyes of our understanding as we move forward in this walk, as we desire to walk out, Ab Yahuah, all that you have given us in your law, statutes, and your commandments, Ab Yahuah, by the power of the Ruach HaKodesh, knowing, Father, that the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach is present and able, Ab Yahuah, when we to cleanse us when we fall short, Father. We give you the praise. And we ask, Ab Yahuah, that you give traveling mercy to all the mishpachah that have traveled down to the Knesset to be with our mishpachah in Virginia. We ask, Ab Yahuah, that you would just watch over them and keep them. We ask, Ab Yahuah, that you would bless and purify the food that has been made, and that you bless those that have prepared it, Ab Yahuah. And as we go into this great last day, Ab Yahuah, may our hearts and minds be solely sold out for the praise and the honor that you deserve, Ab Yahuah, with the understanding, Father, that you have blessed us with another day, another time to get understanding and gain understanding. And we thank you. Toda Rebab Yahuah. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach.